Tom Pietras. I'm an owner at Bucknight, Pietras and Stormer, and we're a CPA firm here in Columbia, South Carolina.
Fantastic. So tell me about your background. Where are you from originally?
I am mostly from Columbia. My dad was Army, so we traveled a little bit, but I got here in 1958 and mostly did not leave. So I'm from here. Went to Spring Valley High School and USC and have worked here forever.
What's your degree in from USC?
I have a BS in accounting.
Okay. Was accounting always the plan?
From the time I started college, it was, yeah. It's not what I was thinking about when I was in high school, but once I got to college, that was it. No sidetracks.
Was it an easy transition into entrepreneurship, especially coming from a Big Four accounting firm?
I was lucky. Even when I was with a big international firm, I was in relatively small offices. I started in an office in Greenville, and I think we had 10 people when I started. Columbia was bigger, it was 45, but it wasn't a giant 400-person office. So the offices I was in were small and entrepreneurial, and the clients we served tended to be more entrepreneurial companies. And so I learned a lot by serving the entrepreneurial companies that I was serving. And so the transition from a big firm to my little firm, it wasn't that big a deal.
Would you say that there's been any make it or break it moments so far in owning your own company?
I can't remember any. We've had changes. We've had founding partners leave. We've had new partners come in. And they were all slightly traumatic, but no, I wouldn't say any life or death situations. We never got close to the point where we were waiting for a check to come in the mail so we didn't have to close the doors. It was never like that for us.
No ramen diet?
No.
Do you have a favorite entrepreneurship moment so far? If it's a company that you've helped or a story being an entrepreneur yourself?
I've got a small client here in Columbia, husband and wife in the contracting business, and I can't tell you too much about them because we've got confidentiality rules and all that, but they started out as a very, very small company, and I started with them from the very start, and we went through, they had life or death moments, but we managed to kind of make it through together, and they've been a client of mine for 26 or 27 years now.
Wow.
And they are very successful and have made a lot of money in their lives. And we have just a wonderful relationship. And it's been kind of fun watching them grow up. And now to the point where they're looking at transition and succession and how they get out of the business. So I've taken them from cradle to almost grave, and it's a fun thing.
From cradle to reincarnation?
Yes.
Do you have any advice for anyone going through a make it or break it moment then, being the advisor to others who have gone through that?
Stay hopeful and optimistic. Things usually work out, and even if they don't work out, failure's not always failure. You know, you start a business, it may make it, it may not, but even if it goes bust and you have to go do something else, it can be traumatic, but you learn things, and you take the things that you learned by having to shut something down, and you take that with you to the next thing, and hopefully it goes better the next time. I don't know, that's a tough thing. I don't have any. Every situation's different.
There's no blanket advice.
There absolutely is no blanket advice.
Good. This moment might be a little bit easier. What's your favorite part about entrepreneurship that you're most passionate about?
Oh gosh. Today, the thing that I like the best is working with these little baby companies here at the incubator, and just hopefully making a little bit of a contribution so that they become viable businesses and make Columbia a better place to live. That's really that's why I give the time I give to the incubator. It's a little bit business. You know, I pick up a little bit of, I pick up clients, and that's good, but I'm hoping that a little bit of a contribution makes the town I live in a little bit better.
So, do you have a single piece of advice you give to every entrepreneur about accounting?
You have to have accounting.
Use us.
Too many entrepreneurs. I think it's fairly typical of a lot of entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs tend to be idea people. They're passionate, they've got ideas, they want to do something, and kind of the details and the back office stuff is not the stuff they enjoy, and it's not the stuff they pay attention to. I think if there's any really good advice is you've got to figure out what you're good at, what you're not good at, and if you're not good at it, you need to get somebody to help you. Because if you don't, you'll run into big problems. You can have a great idea, you can have revenue, but if you don't take care of the details like accounting, sooner or later it will bite you in the rear. So figure out what team you have to build, and make sure all the details stuff that you don't really care about and you don't like get taken care of.
That being said, do you see any of the most common mistakes, or they just kind of depend on the entrepreneur and what they tend to do?
It depends on the entrepreneurs. Make a lot of mistakes and a lot of different kind of mistakes. Some of it's related to what I do because they don't like accounting, and so they don't pay attention to the details, or they let it go too long, and then it's a big hole to climb out of. But they make other mistakes too. They may be great technicians, great scientists, whatever they are, and they assume that this wonderful thing they've come up with, people will just beat their door down, and they don't. It comes back to the right team. If you're the technician and are not the salesperson, you better find a salesperson. Just recognize what you don't know and try and find the resources. Incubator's a good place for that.
Have you had any mentors along your process as an accountant?
I have had a lot of mentors, which is great. They certainly have helped me get where I am today.
Do you have a favorite mentor story specific?
No, well, gosh, I wasn't anticipating that question. So, no, there are a million small mentor stories. No lightning strikes or anything like the mentor changed my life, but every one of them in small and medium-sized ways shaped my career. So they've all been good. You learn something from everybody, and mentors aren't necessarily older, wiser people. You learn things from people your own age and people younger. There are certainly people younger than me and less experienced that in some way I could count as a mentor.
Good. Do you have any advice for someone who's looking either to be a mentor or to look for a mentor?
I would say look for relationships that develop naturally or organically. A lot of organizations assign people mentors. You start your first day and they assign you a mentor. I have never believed in that process because I don't believe you can assign a mentor. Many times assigned mentors turn into actual mentors, but usually mentors are people that you have something in common with, you admire them, there's some personal connection that turns into a valuable mentorship. So I think you just keep your eyes and ears open as you meet people and as you talk with them, and the relationship will develop naturally, I think. So just be alert to that.
So if someone's looking to come to you for advice, what all should they bring to come speak to you?
They don't have to bring anything. They can just come and sit down with me and we'll talk about it. From there, we will dig into details and figure out what they need to bring. But there's no, they don't have to bring a set of books or a bunch of checks or a box of stuff. We'll sit down and talk, and then we'll figure out what that list is.
Good. What part of working with incubator companies are you most passionate about outside of working with small companies that are developing?
I spend the time here at the incubator really for three reasons. One is a little bit marketing for my company. I meet a lot of people. A number of the incubator companies have become clients of mine, and that's a good thing. The second thing, and more important than that, is helping to develop companies so that Columbia is a better place to be, as I mentioned earlier. The third reason I do it is just so that I get to do something different. For me, anyway, every 4 or 5 years, I need to do something different. I'm always a CPA, and I'm always doing that job. But if you don't find something different to do, you get stale, you get bored. So I do this instead of playing golf.
Are there any stories of incubator companies that stand out among the others?
There are just a lot of really interesting companies in the incubator today. The ones I know, they're just doing really fun, interesting things. The USAE shop guys, John and Jerry, what they're doing, taking products to Europe, is just, it's super exciting and fascinating, really. They're doing something for themselves. They're growing a business, but at the same time, they're giving small local manufacturers an opportunity to access a market that they couldn't access without them. I think that's wonderful. You look at Lou Wayburn, who's got a book. He'll show it to you. His book of 700 ideas,
And then some.
and then some of things that he has thought of that at some point he'd like to do something with. What a fascinating person. If I wasn't hanging out here at the incubator, I don't know that I would know these folks, and I wouldn't get to follow their story. And so that's part of the fun of being here.
Okay. Are there resources that you wish others would use in Columbia? Have you found any hidden gems?
I don't think so. The incubator, obviously, it would be nice if people in general, if the population in general knew about the incubator and knew about all the startup resources. I think that would be good. I think people are working hard to get that message out. I know the incubator staff is, and other folks around town are working hard to get the message out about the resources that are available. For some reason, it's just a difficult thing to do, but they're plugging away at it, and I applaud them. I think it's a good thing.